Hi there, welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. In today's show, we'll see how what you eat can negatively or positively impact your health. Plus, a look at a variety of high-quality foods we can eat more of and support the building of our local economy. And later, tips to stay alert and safe while using the roadways over the busy holiday period. Sit back and relax for these and more to come as we turn the pages of Jamaica Magazine.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Original.
It is said that every action has a reaction, and in examining the consequence of the foods we eat, experts have found that proper nutrition can be a safeguard and aid in managing our health. In this feature, take a look at nutrition and cancer.
We must exercise. We must seek to eat the right portions of the food groups that these studies have shown are important to a healthy body. And healthcare in Jamaica, I think, needs to shift somewhat away from the challenges of curing ailments to the challenge of preventing.
And as Jamaica moves to balance its disease prevention interventions with the curative aspects of healthcare, Jamaicans must explore the role that the foods we eat can play. Nutrition does play a role, both as a risk factor and as a tool for managing diseases such as cancer.
Essentially, cancer occurs whenever one of the cells in the body decides that it's going to misbehave and not listen to any instructions at all. And so it just grows and grows and grows and doesn't listen to the regular body signals to say, this is how you should behave. So it's really a misbehaving cell which proliferates and grows, and it then becomes a misbehaving tissue.
And what you eat or not can make a difference in how your body's cells behave.
The fundamental control systems in your body are all chemicals, and therefore the chemicals that you put in your body comes from food. So if there is any mismatch or which can occur, one can end up with having what we call a risk of cancer.
Doctors say that a typical diet for most Jamaicans, with its huge servings of starchy foods like rice, flour, yam and banana, with only small amounts of vegetables, does not provide the healthy benefits that can come through a diet. Instead, doctors suggest eating more fruits and vegetables rich in fiber and antioxidants, and fresh foods high in calcium and vitamin D. Fat-related chemicals are among those that tend to promote cancer, so diets that are high in fat create more of a predisposition to the disease. Alcohol can also have a negative impact.
We say you should not smoke. We also say that you should not consume alcohol if at all possible. The equivalent of an ounce a day is perhaps the limit that we'd allow.
Of course, there are other things not in our foods, found in our environment, which can cause you to get cancers, including toxins such as asbestos. But our focus here is on the role of what we consume, particularly processed foods, which doctors agree should only be eaten in minimal amounts. Some processed meats, for instance, have been linked to things like the propensity to develop colon cancer. To lower the risks, nutritionists recommend fresh meats that are broiled, baked, or steamed to get rid of the excess fat. Nutrition is seen not only as a means of prevention, but also part of the treatment for diseases such as cancer. Patients with cancer are often given specific nutrition interventions as part of their treatment regimen.
So apart from the specific surgical procedure you may have, or the radiological procedure that you may have, radiotherapy, or even the chemotherapy that you may have, nutrition also plays a role in you surviving your therapy.
In striving for a healthy lifestyle, which includes eating well, it's important to maintain physical and mental fitness. Fit individuals engaging in physical exercise at least 3 times per week are more likely not to have any of the chronic, non-communicable diseases such as cancer.
You should engage in at least 3 bouts of physical activity, at least 30 minutes for the day, moderate walking at minimum or the equivalent. You should have to be as stress-free as possible, and you should aim to achieve your ideal body weight. So those factors would generally lead you to what we consider to be a healthy lifestyle, which will tend to protect you not only from cancers, but also other cardiovascular diseases like diabetes and hypertension.
Disease prevention should be our priority. So let's all make our food our medicine and our medicine our food. It's everybody's business.
If you're watching the JIS, you're always in the know when it comes to government information. Keep watching, keep informed, and tell your friends. JIS, your #1 source for government info.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Buying more locally produced goods is important to Jamaica's economic development. And when it comes to our foods, there is much to savor for our good health and the sustainable growth as a country. I have an appetite for things Jamaican, and you should too.
Jamaica is a tiny giant in the world of agro-processed foods. Island producers are dishing out big, unique flavors, employing ingenuity and utilizing the support of state agencies to steadily eke out more of the international market for these goods. Jamaican companies like Central Food Packers are making a mark on this agricultural offshoot, exporting quality canned, bottled and baked foods to markets in North America, the United Kingdom, Canada and the Caribbean. Included in the mix are mild to spicy hot sauces, jams and jellies, a must if you want to proclaim your Jamaicanness. Ackee, delivered to you in a can, and for a bit of green delight, callaloo canned in brine. Then there are some unique Jamaican spreads for your breads and biscuits, like a dab of Solomon Gundy or a spoonful of delicious mango, sorrel or tamarind chutney. And let's not forget the roots wines. Jamaica's value-added agro-processors are engaged in other sweet pursuits. Companies like Honeykiss are churning out all-natural honey confections. As they'll tell you, and you can taste for yourself, pure Jamaican wildflower honey is infused with just a choops of natural unique fruits, vegetables and spices, ginger, Blue Mountain coffee, pimento, allspice, Scotch bonnet pepper. Sweet, aromatic, rich, strong are entirely inadequate labels. Have a taste of authentic Jamaican honey, and what you'll get is a pure, honest flavor, aroma and taste, and medicinal benefits that make healthy living absolutely enticing. Whether your delight is tea, coffee, or maybe cocoa, Jamaican value-added producers have carved out a reputation for delivering only the best. Jamaica is known for its lush landscapes, revered for its music, celebrated for its track stars, and the world is hooked on our coffee. And it's hardly surprising. The species of choice in the Jamaican coffee industry, Arabic coffee, is widely accepted as producing the far superior cup. And Blue Mountain is the brand best loved by coffee connoisseurs from near and far, commanding high prices wherever it's sold. Cultivated high up in the misty blue-hued mountains of the island, maturing in rich volcanic-based soil, only the best bright red cherries are hand-picked, sun-dried, stored, cured, hulled, polished, sized, hand-sorted and packaged to bring the highest quality coffee to your tables. The end product is a cup of exceptionally balanced, exotic and intense aroma with an intricate range of flavor notes that is said to include a subtle hint of herbs, spice and chocolate. Let's take a tea break. Authentic, Jamaican, instant, Salada teas are among a thriving tea market that bags flavors familiar to most people and countries, mixed in with some distinct Jamaican blends. Now for another sweet treat. The cacao plant, or Jamaican cocoa, is a wide-branching evergreen tree from which the world-famous Jamaican cocoa, chocolate, and cocoa butter are produced. Local companies like Chocolate Dreams are milking the lessons learned from centuries of Jamaican cocoa production to turn out sweet delights for every palate. Besides being a pleasure to the taste buds, these products benefit from the many nutritious compounds of the Jamaican cocoa beans. From the mild stimulant of the caffeine alkaloid theobromine to its natural fat starch and the natural amphetamine phenylethylamine, Jamaican cocoa is a folk remedy for maladies from wounds to fevers, coughs, burns, and listlessness. Its fat, Jamaican cocoa butter, is used in confections, in manufacturing soaps and cosmetics. Sweet, medicinal, another Jamaican agri-pursuit poised for new investment, ready to compete with the best anywhere in the world. So, what's your delight? Whatever it is, Jamaican farmers and end producers are uniquely and creatively positioned to deliver. In this land of wood and water, champions are not just made for the tracks, they're also found in the fields and in the shopping carts of discerning consumers the world over.
Enjoy yourself in your homeland, a little more. I and I rope queen, go rubber dub it, wanna I will lick a scene.
Jamaicans, drivers, passengers, motorcyclists, and pedestrians, slow down. Observe the rules of the road. Be courteous. Drive defensively. Be considerate. Buckle up. Wear a helmet. The careless overtaker is only rushing to the undertaker. Not observing the rules of the road could cost you your life and that of your loved ones. I encourage all road users to take special care as we use public thoroughfares. The life you save may be your own. Remember, your family wants you to arrive alive.
When using the roads, we should all remain focused on ensuring our own safety and that of other users. Be alert and avoid common distractions that can lead to serious injury or death, as you'll see in this next feature.
A motorist's ability to fully concentrate on the road is extremely important. Anything that requires a shift in focus should be avoided.
Smoking for one, drinking alcohol.
The drinking thing, I come from party and frost, that no worth it to dog. Mechanics man drivers, you know what I say?
If you are going to turn your radio up to a point where you can't hear anything around you, you're essentially deaf. How are you going to hear when an ambulance is coming through a red light, trying to get someone to the hospital or a fire truck? you're going to drive into the intersection and create an accident.
You can get distracted just about anyhow. You know, but yeah, because putting something in your mouth, you can just bop your eye and, you know, instead of a second, you are alive and others.
Reading newspaper is a no-no. You cannot be reading and driving at the same time. It's a no-no.
There's a loud music coming from some of these vehicles. Also, the way the public passenger vehicles drive, you have to be on the lookout for them at all times.
Something happen, like an accident happen, everybody slow down to look what is happening.
I've oftentimes been concerned about some of these very bright billboards that they put up at the driver's eye level. Oftentimes so bright that you can't even see the traffic light from the billboard.
The traffic environment is a busy one. Road users, drivers especially, have to be concerned with everything that is happening around them. But sometimes they engage in activities that limit their ability to be fully alert or react appropriately to situations. Driving distractions amount to anything that requires a driver to take his or her hands and eyes off the steering wheel or the road. Studies have shown that distracted drivers are setting themselves up for varying calamities. Drivers who use handheld devices are 4 times as likely to get into crashes serious enough to injure them. Using a cell phone while driving, whether it's handheld or hands-free, delays a driver's reaction as much as having a blood alcohol concentration at the legal limit of 0.08%. A driver sending a text message only has about 9% control of the steering wheel and the vehicle at the given time. Being distracted causes drivers to react more slowly to traffic conditions or events, such as another vehicle stopping or making a left turn or pulling out from a side road. Distracted drivers fail more often to notice or recognize potential hazards, including pedestrians, bicycles, or debris on the road. While these statistics are mainly from the United States, the situation in Jamaica is no less alarming, and authorities are taking note.
If it is that you are not familiar enough with your device that you can use it, find the play button without having to look at the device and take your eyes off the road and take your attention off the road, then don't use it. Set it before you start your journey, have your playlist ready, and continue on your journey. If you need to pay attention to it, pull off. It takes 25 seconds the most. Address your device, get the music you want to listen to, and continue on your way.
It is more important that you pull over, because sometimes the time you take to answer the phone, you're focusing on what you're hearing and not even paying attention to the road.
Consultation is taking place here in Jamaica about a law to ban the use of cell phones while driving by imposing fines and other sanctions. In the meantime, drivers of public passenger vehicles should not use cellular phones while driving.
Not ban altogether if they use the earpiece fine, as long as their hands are free to do the controls of the car.
Not really ban it, but a person himself must be more conscious, more conscious knowing that, all right, we have people in the vehicle, or may I protect myself and other people at the same time.
Yes, because my sister was hit by a car, and it was by somebody who was actually driving and using his cell phone, didn't see her crossing. So I'm totally against it. You know, I believe that there should be more that is done to prevent people from doing that.
Sometimes it's dangerous, depends on how you use it. Because sometimes you can be driving, you know, and get an emergency call, and you have to take that call. And sometimes people just step on them BB, text, which don't make no sense. They can just wait.
When they matter, they not look for nobody. They don't even know where they might drive.
I think it is necessary, given the fact that if you look at the US statistics, 330,000 persons are injured every year because of persons using the phone while driving. It makes you 10 times more likely to be in an accident. So from simply the standpoint of protecting life and property, it is necessary.
I don't think they should ban it. There could have been some regulation where you use an earpiece or something, because if everybody have to pull over when you get a phone call, you're going to have chaos on the road. You understand? So if you use an earphone that could work.
Using earphones or hands-free kits may allow a driver to still maintain control of the vehicle with his or her hands. But a driver's best bet is to refrain from using them altogether, as their focus will now largely be placed on the conversation. While cell phones may be the most common distractions, a host of other things may lead persons to take their attention off the road. Here are some general tips to deal with them. Plan your route beforehand to avoid getting lost or focusing on navigational systems such as GPS. Ensure that children use child seats and seat belts to prevent them roaming in motor vehicles. Turn down the volume of music played in vehicles. Refrain from texting, emailing, answering phones, or attending to pagers while driving or walking. Avoid reading while driving, whether newspapers, billboards, or other advertisements. Do not watch television or DVDs in your car while driving. Avoid multitasking, such as combing your hair or applying makeup while driving. Have your meal before beginning your journey to eliminate the need to eat while driving. And keep conversations with other passengers to a minimum. At all times, remember that you are ultimately responsible for your safety and that of others.
On the board this week, the International Church of the Foursquare Gospel invites you to its 47th Annual National Convention. It's being held from April 14 to 17 under the theme, Together We Are Able to Achieve, for God has broken the chains. So let's go possess the land. Nehemiah 2 verse 20 and 4 verse 6. The convention will be held at 15 Cassia Park Road, Kingston 10. Service begins at 6 p.m. each night. Come for a spiritual feast. The Jubilee Worship Center, 36 Valdez Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, invites you to Celebrating Christ or Passover. This Sunday, April 16, starting at 7 p.m. There'll be continuous intercessory prayers, declaration of scriptures, apostolic, messianic teachings, and anointed worship. For more information, call 649-2562 or 537-0081. All are invited to come out on April 22 to a grand worship experience unlike any other. It's the Pioneer Music Label launch at Fellowship Tabernacle, 2 Fairfield Avenue, Pembroke Hall, behind the Boulevard Shopping Center. Start time, 7 p.m. Come see dynamic psalmists, Alicia Taylor, Lyric, Radical Weapons, and others. Admission free. For more information, call 430-5380. And that's all for all community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the JRS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868-022 or send an email to cbishop@jis.gov.jm. Here now are some of the stories in our news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. On Tuesday, Finance Minister Audley Shaw announced decreased property tax rates ranging from a low of 0.5% to a high of 0.9%, down from the 0.8 to 1.3% range announced a month ago. The $1,000 flat rate will maintain on properties valued up to $400,000.
For those who have already paid their property taxes on the previously announced rates, any overpayment will be refunded or can be credited towards tax liabilities in 2018-19.
Minister Shaw also affirmed that several measures of relief were available for persons finding it difficult to pay, and said those who believe their lands are valued too high under the newly applied 2013 valuation rule can submit an objection to the Commissioner of Land Valuations. Prime Minister Andrew Holness broke ground this week for the Jamaica Public Service Company's 190-megawatt power plant in Old Harbour, which will replace 292 megawatts of obsolete power generation equipment with new efficient natural gas-fired generating capacity. The Prime Minister used the function to praise Jamaica's improved ranking on the World Economic Forum's Global Energy Architecture Performance Index and said government planned to keep on that path by doing an analysis of the island's energy demands.
But for our economy to grow, we have to be not just energy sufficient, but energy efficient. And I think that we are making the right steps. We are going in the right direction to get more LNG and more renewables to support our economic growth.
On Wednesday, Finance Minister Audley Shaw signed record of discussions with the Japan International Cooperation Agency to facilitate the project to promote energy efficiency in Caribbean countries. Jamaica is among 4 countries that will benefit from a $2.7 million grant under the project.
The record of discussions signals the synergy and collaboration between the governments of Jamaica and Japan in this vital area of energy efficiency and renewable energy. Also, it bolsters the existing efforts of the government of Jamaica aimed at reducing overall fossil fuel consumption.
The National Security Ministry announced this week that George Coelho has been appointed the new Commissioner of Police. Portfolio Minister Robert Montague called on Jamaicans to support the work of the new Commissioner, whose appointment takes effect on April 18. Minister with responsibility for the environment portfolio, Darrell Vaz, confirmed on Tuesday that Jamaica ratified the Paris Agreement on Climate Change on March 30, 2017.
All our partners and stakeholders will be further engaged and embraced to ensure that we fulfill our obligations under the Paris Agreement. We are now in implementation mode.
The move was welcomed and praised by the United Nations Development Programme UNDP in Jamaica. The Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, has distributed mosquito nets and lids for water storage containers to residents of West Kingston as part of a broader project to benefit 3,500 persons in 30 communities. A total of 1,000 bed nets and 2,500 specialized lids will be distributed in the communities.
And so today what it is about is really to ensure that we can assist with protecting the most vulnerable in our society, which would be the newborns and, by extension, the pregnant mothers.
And finally, the region's premier law enforcement training institution now has a website to increase its visibility and communication with the public. The Caribbean Regional Drug Law Enforcement Training Center's new website was designed and developed by the Computer Services Department of the JIS and launched on Monday. It can be accessed at redtrackgov.edu.jm. And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Until then, you can click online at jis.gov.jm and visit our YouTube channel and get the latest government information. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and download our app from the Google Play Store to stay informed. I am Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to take care of your health, eat well, exercise, and have a safe and peaceful holiday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.